My name is Aman Kaushik. I run a business consulting company called Fulcrum Push. We are a training and a consulting company specifically targeting the travel industry. Our trainings include leadership, customer service, sales, account management, motivational trainings. Apart from these trainings, I also run another company called Corporate Hotel Stock, which does the hotel management for big and large corporates. One word I would describe the COVID is realignment. Realignment, when I say it, it means realignment of priorities, realignment of your personal self, realignment your goals and desires. You have to realign yourself to the new world. And the people who have done that, I think, are better off post this pandemic than the people who found it difficult to realign their life or their businesses accordingly. Realignment also not only from the personal point of view, but also from the point of view of businesses. Businesses have to rethink, realign, reignite themselves. So before COVID, I'm a people's person. And like everyone, I had very stuck-up views on what a training should be. And I was a little bit wary of online digital training platforms. When people used to tell me that, why don't you give a training on an online platform, I always used to say, it takes a lot of me away from me. And the connection wasn't there. But I think COVID forced me to dig deep into my own personality. And I said, okay, what in my business can be put on to the online business? And that was a big realignment of thought process from my side. And I think that really started showing off in my business. I converted some trainings into online format and understanding very, very well that these will be delivered better on site, but at least I can do some part of a training online. So today, before COVID, most of my trainings were in class or maybe in a boardroom. But now I have some trainings which I can do completely online, while I have some trainings which I can do a hybrid, that means some part online, some part on site, and while some training of mine will always be on site. So I think that's one big realignment on the business point of view. And I think another realignment I did was that I did a lot of stuff from the change point of view. Most of my trainings were skill development, but I think post-pandemic or during the lockdown, I did a lot of trainings on how do people or organization deal with change. And I think that's one thing I have added in my business and realigned my organization in terms of delivery and in terms of what to deliver. So, travel industry, I would say, is the industry which got hit first by. In fact, even prior to the pandemic or even prior to the lockdown, industry was in doldrums because people were getting the news that the world may close down. Secondly, it will be the last to recover because till the time no international flight starts and people are fearful of traveling, I would say, it will take a lot of time. So what do a travel industry or travel agent do in this scenario? I think I would describe it in 3 words. 1, innovate. I think our world has changed. And if we don't innovate our businesses, if we don't bring in new ways of encouraging the customers, if we don't innovate our processes and systems, it is difficult for organizations to survive. Secondly, be flexible. Flexible means don't say that, this is what used to happen in my industry and I want my good old word back. It won't come back. So you have to be flexible and see how travelers' mindset have changed. Last and not the least, I would say, involve the other industry players. Talk to your customers more often now. It's not that they are afraid of travel, but I think they need more information now. They need more consulting now, and that's what they pay a travel agency for. So my advice to our travel agency businesses would be innovate in your business, be flexible, and be more open, use more technology, use more social media platforms so that you can connect with your customers and encourage them to travel. Again, this is not in your hand. However, you can make it easier for them. You can really become an advisor for them, why and how they can restart the travel journey of their lives. Travel is an integral part of human evolution. People have evolved, or humans have evolved by traveling from one place to another. I don't think people will ever stop traveling. World is becoming a place, one place. So people are interested in traveling. In fact, people are spending more money on experiential things like travel than maybe, having an asset. So travel is going to be there. There have been a lot of doomsday predictors and saying that now people will stop traveling because there's an online meeting, people can virtually meet each other, why they need to travel. But I strongly believe that travel industry or travel as an activity is something which people love and like to do. It's not something they are being forced to do. So as soon as they will get an opportunity, I think travel industry will boom. I would say business travel will take a little bit more time to get back on its feet. Leisure, we are seeing it already that in fact we just have the data which says that all the resorts which are outside the city are already full, while the business hotels which are inside the city are 30-40% occupancy only. So I think business travel will take a little bit more time. Leisure will already have started showing up, and there is a concept which is called revenge travel. People will travel because they were stopped from traveling for last 1 year. So I think industry as an industry, I think it's a great place to be. I think just a matter of time, people will start traveling, business as well as leisure. I believe that maybe January 22, we will have the post-COVID numbers in terms of sales and revenue. And I think by mid-22, I think business travel also will have numbers which were post-COVID. So travel industry is going nowhere. It's like integral part of humanity, I would say. So it depends upon the type of a training. There are some trainings which have a lot of intellectual knowledge, information input. I think those can move online very, very well. And I have tried and used the digital platforms to deliver those training online. However, there are some trainings which require emotional engagement, where you are asking people to be emotionally involved with the training. When they start thinking about themselves, when they are reassessing their own personalities, understanding their own personalities, and then understanding the message, and then maybe applying on their own life. Like for example, how do I manage my anger, or how do I give a right feedback to my people in a one-to-one environment? Now that's a part of my leadership program. Now some trainings I would say can be delivered easily and effectively on online tools, and I've tried it myself, and I think there has been some sort of a success there. While on some trainings there is definitely an online engagement is not what I would desire for, or I feel that message get passed. Definitely there are some trainings where during the trainings you learn from the peers. You are not learning by yourself, but you are looking at your peer. Somebody is delivering a presentation, somebody is conducting a meeting, somebody is doing something, and you are learning what this person is doing right and what this person can improve upon. I think that learning misses out on online because you are too focused on yourself. So I would say digital tools on trainings works, but they work for a specific trainings only. And I think as a trainer, we need to be very, very clear what works where. I think one learning, like I've said in my realignment part, one learning I have is I was stuck up that everything can only be delivered on offline or on site. However, I have learned myself is that you need to be open, and I think some trainings definitely will move online, and some trainings, lucky for people like us, will never move on. Work from home, when you listen to it, I think if you would have asked this question to people around January last year and say, imagine a world when you are working out of a home for 4 or 5 days a week, people would have said, wow. And we would have said that you are getting the same amount of money. Because people save a lot of time traveling, going to office and coming back from office. Having said that, if you ask the same question from people now, I think the response won't be the same. I think work from home is a bit of an oxymoron. While you definitely reduce the stress of travel, but you actually bring in the stress of work to home. You are available now in your mindset 24 hours. Secondly, I do believe that companies are called companies because people work in each other's company. That's the reason the word company evolved. So when you work alone, it has a different stress. I personally feel that in organization, people don't only learn through doing work, but they learn through gossips. They learn in cafeterias. They learn when they meet people when they are not guarded. So if you ask a question to your colleague that I want to handle that customer, and you ask that in an official environment, or you said I'm facing this problem with the customer, and you ask that in an official environment, you would find that people won't open up the way they will open up maybe in a loo or in a cafeteria. They'll give you something really different perspective. They open their heart out. So I think that part of the work of office we miss. Again, I would say word is not made up of a single type of situation. So there's some works you can do really very well working from home. When you need to focus, you need to concentrate, you need to innovate, you need to think. However, there's something which required collaboration. Even thinking requires collaboration. You have an idea, you want to throw it off 10 people and just want to understand what do they think. And I think that part of work do get missed. So work from home, in my view, ideal world would be that I can work out of 2 days out of a week from home, and 2 days I work from an office, and 2 days I don't work. I think that's the ideal world. It doesn't happen that way, but I think work of home is a bit stressful, fine for something, but not fine for everything. One big challenge I faced in my business, there was no business. So when there is no business, I think that was a challenge in itself. So because I ran two different companies, I think on the front of my travel industry business, challenge was definitely there, because there was no work with them, and obviously they were not positioned to give me any work. On the other hand, my training business, there were challenges of not meeting people, not delivering. I think I'm a people's person, and I love meeting people. Not meeting people for 4 months and new people is definitely difficult, because most of my trainings involve learning from people's experiences. And when you don't get that, you are stuck yourself with only theoretical knowledge and not of people mindset. So not meeting people was a big challenge for my business in in training, while not having business in travel was a challenge for my other business. Apart from that, I think small businesses found it really difficult to dig into their resources and keep the engine running. And I think that was something which we really faced challenged with. Government came with some schemes on financial backing, but I think they didn't work much. They were not for people like us in small and medium enterprises. So challenges were there: financial, not meeting people, not having business, and letting go some good people. So, any organization, like for example, one of my businesses, we had 20 people. If we keep all drown. So we had to let go around 60% of those people to save the organization as well as and to live for other day. It was phenomenally painful that people who were working with you for last 6-7 years, you have to let them go because they have life and they have family and they were running their own life. So that was really, really painful. So challenges were there, but that's part of life. An initiative as a communication tool. I think the Prime Minister is a great communicator of his ideas anyway. So I think as a communication tool that there is something dangerous and we all have to be together. Let's stand in it together. I think it motivated people. It was a good communication strategy, spreading awareness. However, there were a lot of negatives also in this. Like for example, superstition got built in. People were gathered in groups which they should have avoided anyway. So I think that from that point of view, there could have been a better way of communicating it with a lot of do's and don'ts. And I think that would have been a better scenario. But that's what it is. So I would say there are two things, one on the personal level and one on the professional level. I'll talk about the personal level first. I'm a bit, I would say, procrastinator of something. Like for example, it's for maybe 3 years now, I've been saying I want to do videos on Bollywood music and Gyan and YouTube videos. And there was always one or the other reason I was saying, hello, I'll do it later. So the one thing which I really learned was that if you want to do something, do it, you will find the time. And I have done at least 10-12 videos on my YouTube channel. So that's one thing which I really liked about myself, that I could do really professional YouTube videos, did a lot of research, merged those videos, learned a lot during that period. I can now make a video, merge videos, cut a video, integrate a new sound, all that stuff. So I think that's one thing I feel that I have developed a personal arena of mine, and I think that will be useful in my business too. On the professional front, I would say I am now quite, I'm quite comfortable with online tools, usage of them for delivering of training. I think I won't call myself master yet, but I think I'm pretty cool now comparative to what I was just 1 year back. So I think the personal development and professional development, they do look alike. That means facing a camera and talking to the camera. But I think they both have different aspects to them, and I think that's one thing I really liked about that. So these were the new learnings. However, there is an old learning which I've been telling to a lot of my friends. And that is, work is not life. Work is part of life. And I think this pandemic has re-emphasized that to many people. That we work because we want to live a life. We don't work because work is life. And I think that learning, which luckily I always had, has been reaffirmed with me. And I've been able to communicate it to a lot of my friends and a lot of my family members, and I hope that some of them will learn from it and start realizing that we work because we live. We don't live to work, right? And I think that's very important learning.